Welcome to the Vernon Hills Update. The update offers information about a variety of village services. You'll meet a few of your neighbors and you'll find out about upcoming events. On today's show, we'll hear about this year's Village Road Rehab project, slated to begin May 1st on Midway and Linden Lanes in the Deer Path neighborhood. We'll take a trip to Dunkin' Donuts, where the Vernon Hills Police Department will be raising funds for Special Olympics on Friday, May 18th from 5 to 9 a.m. for Cops on the Rooftop. We'll go over suggestions for handling yard waste and garbage containers as we move into the spring cleanup season. And we'll help you prepare for summer construction projects as we review the residential permit process. Thank you for tuning into the Vernon Hills Update.
We are out in the Deer Path neighborhood. We're kind of at the corner of Midway and Linden Lanes in particular, where there's going to be a lot of work going on. So we're here with Public Works Director, Village Engineer, David Brown. And Dave, you're getting ready to, by the time people watch us in May, you'll hopefully have a lot of activity on these two streets here in town to get the road rehab project going.
Yeah, our road rehab program for this year is our only two concrete streets in town, Midway and Linden. So we're looking to rehabilitate them. We looked at some different options. In terms of this, we were thinking potentially remove and replace, but I think area residents have experienced what we did in Deer Path and how disruptive that was. So we wanted to look at other alternatives. Ultimately, we went to different villages and looked at their approaches that have more concrete streets, so we've learned lessons from them. And ultimately, the selection that we chose is an operation that they grind the concrete down towards the curb, and they leave a little 1.5 inch gap 12 inches away from the curb, and it creates a gutter. And then from there they're going to patch, and then they're going to put an asphalt overlay. So it's going to be a same concrete roadway, but it's going to have asphalt over it in its finished condition.
Well, and that sounds like, you know, as compared to when you dig it out right to the subsurface and start over again, that's a long, hard process on the neighborhood, but this might be a little bit more compact on the timeline. Yeah,
the timeline, we're anticipating they'll start May 1. It's we're weather permitting. We anticipate it'll be about a 60-day project, so 2 months.
Okay. 2 months is better than 6-8 months for sure. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and you would like people, one thing to know is that it's going to be difficult. You'd like people to try to find a way to keep their cars off the streets.
Absolutely. Really, we want to keep the contractor moving, and to do that, if there's not cars on the street, that really helps the progress on the project. So what we're looking to do really is, we don't think there's going to be a lot of impact in terms of people's driveways and concrete pours. It's really just a grinding operation, patching, and again, then putting down the asphalt. So I think access to people's driveways will work real well compared to our normal projects.
Well, and you guys always, you've got maps, you've got updates, you'll be posting updates on the, like your website and things like that. And I know that you send information out to these neighbors directly. I would assume that keeps ongoing through the whole process.
Yeah, primarily we send it through our newsletter, and then we have all the other forms of social media to get the word out and help with communication.
Okay, but by the time people are watching this show in May, this work should be underway, assuming no snow flies or something like that.
It'll be underway.
Okay. Okay, that's spoken by the guy that handles the snow plowing. It'll be underway. Okay, excellent. So that's Linden and Midway. That's at kind of the south end of Deer Path. So just keep that in mind too. When you're at the south end of Deer Path, you might come into some trucks and stuff coming in and out of here. So another thing going on, Route 60 and Milwaukee has been really exciting around town.
Yeah, it is construction season. They have been making some progress over the last 4 or 5 months that aren't as noticeable. The traffic signals have been converted to wood poles and span wires and temporary traffic control devices. They've worked with utility companies to fix some of the underground issues. They've extended storm sewers, but now it's springtime and it's more noticeable type things. So they're removing curb and gutter to build new road lanes. Some of the improvements, it's going to be tough. It's probably substantial completion sometime in late September. So it's going to be tough going through that area for a period of time. Ultimately, why we're doing it, some people are looking, it's more related to Melody Farms, but we really have a traffic issue. Route 60 and Route 21, two major highways that are very important to our village. So the village, as part of the Melody Farm project, was able to leverage some TIF bonds, and so we're spending about $4.4 million, the village, on a state highway. It is that important. So as part of that, they're adding some very important things. When you're on Milwaukee Avenue, there's dual lefts. Well, we want that to be on Route 60 too. So people coming off of the tollway, they want to go southbound on Milwaukee Avenue, it'll double the capacity for that movement. You'll get through the light quicker. Also, if you're heading northbound towards that intersection, you want to turn right and go towards the tollway. Right now it's a combined through and right turn lane. There'll be a separate right turn lane. So those are some of the improvements that are being made there. It is going to be disruptive. We ask for everyone's patience during the process, but once it's built, it's going to serve us very well.
Especially because you see how you just get everybody stops and nobody moves, and the light switches a few times. So the idea of having those dedicated turn lanes or more dedicated turn lanes really should move that, which has got to be one of the busiest intersections in Lake County. It should move it through there. So understand this again. So the village took some responsibility, even though that's state road. So usually the state's supposed to do it, but you just were like, let's move this thing along.
Yeah, as we know, the state is struggling in many ways financially. So for us to wait for the state to fix it, that just wasn't in the cards. LDOT, Lake County, has stepped forward on some of the state highways also to help move those projects forward. Sometimes you have to take matters in your own hands.
That's why it's nice to live in Lake County and Vernon Hills. You guys do look at what needs to be done and just get it done. So you think by September all that work might be kind of cleaned up?
The end of September.
That's good to look forward to, because it isn't like one of those projects that might take years. Let's talk about something that has been kind of years in the offing, and that's the Lakeview Fairway Drive project. I know that as we're talking, as people are watching this in May, you're having some information meetings to kind of to wrap up phase one. If people aren't familiar with the area, it used to be Fairway Drive wasn't there, and just to get a road through to 45, that alone was quite a thing.
Yeah, the open house that occurs in April, that really was a culmination of a phase one study, which basically looks at the geometrics and environmental impacts. And that initial step was how we got Fairway extended from Route 45 all the way to 60. What a great improvement. The traffic it has taken off of Deer Path and this specific area, phenomenal. This is a continuation of that process. They'll prepare their report. It allows them to go to phase two, which is a preparation of bid specs and going through the bidding process. So what we're looking to do specifically is we're anticipating improvements on Lakeview from just north of Hawthorne Parkway. It's called Center Street. And then southerly along Lakeview to the post office, which is Fairway Drive. So that is the anticipated project. We're looking for funding through the Council of Mayors. Federal government pays 80% of the majority of the line items. So we're patient and we go through this process, but it's value added, so that's what we're looking to do. We're looking at the bid opening would probably be January of 2020.
Okay, so we're talking that kind of timeline. We're talking, again, a few years out. And when you talk about that section of road, which again is another highly traveled area, is it the improvements mean like widening or turn lanes, or do you even know what that is yet? Is it still in the development stage?
We do know what improvements are proposed. The major concern in that area is, especially AM and PM peak periods. Hawthorne Parkway at Lakeview, it's on a split-phased signal, so north-south operates in a normal fashion, but in the east-west direction, you wait for one side to go, you wait for the other side to go. It backs up traffic. It backs up traffic in the morning down Hawthorne Parkway towards the CV and then extended, and then in the evening on the reverse commute, people are stacking, and then it's backing up into Route 60. So it'll improve that intersection by having a normal intersection design that everyone's familiar with. And then it also add a little bit more storage capacity for those lanes. It's also extending south of 60 along Lakeview towards Phillip. From Phillip going towards the post office, that's really just going to be a grind and overlay, but we're leveraging that 80% funding.
When you get some help on the funding, you try to put as much in the pot as you can. Excellent. But we're talking, you said bid letting about 2020, so a little bit before we come back and talk about that project. Okay. Now, one thing before we quit talking about the roads, you're also the water guy. You're the stormwater management guy. You mentioned that, that was some of the work that has to be done around here, like when they do Melody Farms and places like this. This neighborhood we're standing in behind is one of our lakes, big ponds, over by the kids' castle. So if people are seeing work over there, you want to explain what we're going to see over there?
Yeah, so it's Evergreen Lake is a specific area, and we're Midway and Linden, so just on Deer Path, just immediately north is Evergreen Lake. There's a big park district fields. You always see kids kicking soccer balls and playing. It's just a lovely area. Specifically, we have in the Deer Path area, some of these areas are mid-70s vintage, and so they have very large corrugated metal pipes. Well, they usually have a life expectancy of around 50 years, and so we're kind of at the 45-year period, so we do monitor them, check the condition. The outfall pipe that drains into the northwest side of the lake, we're looking to replace 2 of them. One's the equivalent of a 72-inch diameter pipe, the other's 42-inch, and so we're removing those and we're replacing them with concrete, improving the outfall head wall. And then also we're partnering with the Park District to do some shoreline restoration along the westerly leg also. So it'll look nice.
It'll look nice. It'll last another 50 years or more. And then and as we talk about that, when you do your processes, like you said, you monitor things. You have things on charts. You know how old things are. That's kind of how you come up with the roads or stormwater management changes or anything. You look at what needs it first and you plot that stuff out.
Yeah, we look at the life expectancy of different items, improvements. One specific thing is, like you said, the roads. Roads, we do a pavement management inventory. We hire someone to go out and they deflect the pavement, and they have some sensors that give us great information. We pull all this information together, and it helps us with figuring out what roads we should do in what order. It helps us with a 5-year plan. Once we get a 5-year plan, then we actually walk those streets within the 5-year plan and determine how we should move forward year after year. Sometimes we have to vary it a little bit because there may be a water main project or another utility improvement, and so we try to work with some of our sister agencies on those coordination items.
So it's in your database. You're always looking at everything and figure out what should be done when. It isn't just like you throw a dart at the map. You've been planning years out. Helps you financially and helps the village maintain good-looking streets all the way through. So that's nice to know. Now, if somebody wants to know more about your process, or for instance, what's going on here on Midway and Linden, or anything like that, you're a good guy to email. You get back to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Dave B. at vhills.org, or reach me through the website.
Yeah. And the website does have a lot of information, including a link for neighbors that are wanting to hear about Midway and Linden. You've got a road rehab project page that you guys update all the time.
Yeah, we'll have weekly updates on this project.
Excellent. Well, thank you for taking the time. We look forward to seeing what this all looks like when it's all done. Thanks for the keeping all the roads looking good, and we won't come and talk to you about snow for a while. Let's hope so. Thank you.
I do appreciate that.
Thank you. We are at one of the happiest places on earth, Dunkin' Donuts here in Vernon Hills on the corner of 60 and Milwaukee. We're with Vernon Hills Police Officer Courtney Blau, and she's here to tell us about something fun. Now, we always have that joke about cops and donuts. I think everybody in donuts goes well, but you've got something coming up that really puts the good spin on it.
Yeah, absolutely. We have what's called Cops on the Rooftop. It's going to be on May 18th, which is a Friday, from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m., where we're going to be taking donations for the Special Olympics.
Well, so Friday Friday's a good donut day anyway, but it's early in the morning, 5 to 9 a.m. I guess that's when everybody's getting donuts for work.
That's usually when the most foot traffic is, yes.
So how do we help Special Olympics by coming in on that morning?
So what we do is we'll ask for donations. Any donation, you're going to receive a coupon for a free donut. And if you make a donation of $10, then you get a free travel mug with a cup of coffee as well as the donut. And then if you donate $5, you'll get what's called a munchkin drop. And you can pick any officer down here on the ground, and there's going to be an officer up on the roof, and they're going to try and drop a munchkin, and the officer here on the ground is going to try and catch it in their mouth.
For $5.
For $5. It's a deal.
It's a deal. Now, I told you before we started rolling, I get nervous as a mom that somebody's going to choke. But these guys, they've done this before. They're trained professional munchkin catchers. It's all good.
Absolutely. We make sure not to use sprinkled donuts. We use glazed or powdered donuts for the most part. But yes, we are trained professionals.
Did you find out those other ones go a little bad?
Oh, yes. We've had some injuries with the sprinkled donuts in the past.
Okay, excellent. That's good to know. But don't try this at home. But remember, the sprinkles aren't the way to go. So if I come in here, I'm guaranteed a free donut. If I just give like even $1, I'm going to end up with a free donut.
Absolutely. You get a coupon, you go inside, and you can collect your free donut.
Okay. And it's all for Special Olympics. Now, you guys are big Special Olympics supporters, the police department. You do torch runs, you do polar plunges, you do all kind of stuff. This is one of the things close to your heart.
Absolutely. We love this. This is the best part because we do the munchkin drops, and we collect the money for the donuts today, and then in a few weeks we're going to be doing the torch run. So we'll burn off all the calories from the donuts we eat today when we do the torch run in a few weeks.
Okay, and that torch run, can we give donations to that as well?
Absolutely. Yes, you can. And we will be out and about on, I believe it's 2 weeks from this Sunday that we'll be doing the torch run.
Okay, excellent. So there's a lot of stuff going on to help everybody.
Yes, absolutely. And you can take a look at our website if you'd like for more information.
Exactly, and there's going to be information around town. So just remember, Friday, May 18th, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. That's a.m. people. Get up early. Get up at the crack of dawn. Come over to the Dunkin' Donuts that's at the southwest corner of 60 and Milwaukee so that you can get in on this and help the Special Olympics and get to meet all your officers. That's great, too. So it's always good to be out in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Come by and say hi as well.
Okay. Thanks for your time. Thanks for doing this, and good luck with everything, and right on for Special Olympics.
Thank you very much.
Just in time here. This is Mike Atkinson. He's the building commissioner for the Village of Vernon Hills, and maybe you'll give me a hand on my yard spring cleanup, because that's what we're all doing in the neighborhood.
Be happy to do so.
Well, that's good to know. This is a full-service village hall. So, well, we actually are. We're going to talk a little bit about spring cleanup. I know especially if you're new to the area or you're new to doing your own yard work, we do have a company that comes through and picks up our yard waste. It's the same company that does most of the residences in town.
Yes, we do. It's Advanced Disposal. They serve all residential uses, not commercial uses, but all residential uses except for multifamily.
Okay, so some of the HOAs you might have something, or your apartment homes might have contracted with somebody else, but if you're in a single family home, this is our company, is Advanced.
That's correct.
Okay, and Advanced is also the one that once it turns warm, April through November, you can get yard waste pickup. Now let's talk about how you can do that. Now here today I'm raking into containers with an X, and I have my sticker on the side of my container because I just do it all year round. It seems like I'm always picking up. So can we talk about how you can get that subscription service?
Sure. Advance offers two programs. One is a yearly program. It costs $104. And the other one is just buying stickers, and you just, every time you fill up a can or a bag, you place a sticker on the can or bag, and they'll take it away.
And you can get those stickers. I know they've got them over at Village Hall already. You can usually get them even like at Home Depot, Lowe's, all around Menards.
That's correct, at all those places.
Okay, so, and you can use also craft paper bags, so you don't have to have these cans marked with an X. You can just have them take the whole kit and caboodle away.
That's correct as well.
Okay.
Or you could use the cans with an X on it.
Yeah. And I know, so like what I'm doing is we paid for the whole summer from April through the end of November, which you kind of got to watch for that date because sometimes it changes when the landfill opens and closes. But I've got the big sticker that I bought. That's what the garbage man is looking for. So on my main garbage day, which is Monday or Tuesday around here, that's when I put my yard waste out. And you don't like it out too far ahead of time.
That's correct. It should be placed out no earlier than 5 o'clock the day before of pickup.
Okay. And especially with the craft bags, because they kind of deteriorate out in the rain.
Yeah, exactly. We like to recommend that when they're filled up, keep them in a shed or a garage or protect them so that they can't get wet and degrade.
And so that's garbage, that's recycling, because we do recycle in town, and that's yard waste over the course of the summer. Now, you also have, we've got village rules, but it's just being a good neighbor and making your neighborhood look good and your house look good, about where you should store the cans just in general.
Yeah, cans should be stored in one of 3 locations, either inside your garage, so they're out of sight, or on the side of your house, at least 15 feet back from the front face of your house. If you can't place it 15 feet back, then you could screen it from view from the street.
And when we talk about screening, some people just, literally a bush or a little tiny piece of fence people have used. They've done some very nice, beautiful, creative things.
Yeah, exactly. A decorative fence or a bush or 2, that would do it. That would be effective screening.
Yeah. So then it can be a little closer to the front of your house. It just needs to be screened so that when you're driving around through the neighborhood, you don't see garbage cans.
Absolutely, correct.
And you like them brought back in too. You don't like them sitting out over, if your garbage day is Monday, you don't like to see them out still on the driveway on Tuesday afternoon.
That's correct. You should take them back the day that garbage is picked up by the end of that day.
Okay. So I know that's a lot of garbage rules, and they're all on the village website, or you can go to Advanced. Advanced is the one that can help you too. You can buy stickers through Advanced. You can buy the subscription service. Call them up. They'll send you the big can sticker that goes for the whole year. They'll help you out. Village Hall, you can call over. They'll help you figure out what you're supposed to be doing.
Absolutely. And Advanced contact information is available on the village website.
They'll help you too if you're doing like a remodel or something like that, which we're going to talk about permits, but let's just talk about when you have like construction debris or something like that. They'll help you too figure out how to properly get rid of things like big items or bulky items. They can help you with special pickups.
Yeah, if it's a construction project or if you have a bigger item, you simply call Advance and arrange for a special pickup.
Pretty straightforward. And when we talk about getting rid of stuff, that's the time when we're going to talk to you about May 19th is a very busy day in the village. I guess we're getting all our cleanup done on May 19th. You're going to have Recycle-O-Rama over at the mall where you can come and get rid of electronics. Look at the list, but it's kind of almost anything with a cord to it. But look at the list of what they'll take, because those things aren't supposed to go in the landfill anymore. They'll also, you can take up to a box of papers and you can watch them shred them for you, and you can get rid of latex paint there at Recycle-O-Rama, which is May 19th over at the mall. Now, at the latex, I think they're charging $3 a gallon or something because they have to do some stuff to it so it's able to be disposed.
Yeah.
And then you can also go that same day and you can head to the metro station. There's where you can get rid of your household chemical waste, some of your pesticides, oil-based paints, all that kind of stuff. Take a look at that list too. But between the 2 places, we're going to get the town cleaned up, and we'll be good to roll for the rest of the season. So.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
And so if you want more information, particularly on those recycling programs, to see what you can bring, times and everything, go online, learn more about yard waste, check in at Village Hall or go online. But really just, I guess we can get out there and get at is the thing.
Exactly. Or if it's more helpful, you can call the Village Hall as well. The number is 847-367-3700.
All right. Thank you very much for taking the time, and I got a rake for you, so I guess we got some more work to do.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Lynn.
Well, spring is finally here. It'll probably go right into summer, but which means that a lot of people are out doing projects around their house, inside and outside. So this is the time of year we like to talk about the Vernon Hills permit process, so you're up to speed and you know what you need to do so you can get everything done quickly. We're with Mary Gilraith. She's the person, one of the people that you'd see at the front desk when you come into Village Hall. She's one of the people that can help you with the permitting process. So thank you for taking the time to talk with us again. We try to do this every year, but it's permit day. So you're the queen of the permits.
Yeah, well, thanks, Lynn. Yeah, it's nice to talk to you again. We actually have been quite busy through the entire winter. A lot of people think we slow down a lot at that time, but we don't, especially with the big projects we've had in town. Melody Farm is really keeping us hopping, and not only with their permits, but all the inspections that go along with it. And of course, Pulte is building their development at Cuneo, a lot of new homes coming in, and there's a couple other new developments coming in. So this is a good time to start talking to the residents about those other little jobs they want to do, whether it's a fence or a deck or a basement remodel or whatever, because I have seen in the past few weeks it's picked up already. People are already, preparing to start getting their permits and everything in for review. There's a handful of permits that we issue over the counter. Then there are the other permits that have to go in for review. And the review time does take up to 10 business days for us to get it processed and the plan reviewer to have time to go through it, and then we would call you once that's all approved.
So like a thing that would need a plan review to make sure everything is like copacetic with the codes and everything, that would be something like if you were doing a remodel or an addition, things like that?
Like, a deck, a patio, a basement remodel, fences, sidewalks, things like that, driveways. On our website, at the very bottom of our main page, if you scroll all the way down under quick links in the center, there's building permit applications, and that's a great place for everybody to go to. We've got a lot of different kind of handouts and the permit applications there, and each handout explains what you need to do to provide to us for us to be able to do that review. Like, for instance, if you're going to be doing a patio, you've got the application there. The application tells you what you need to submit, 2 copies of your plat of survey showing where the patio is going to be located with the dimensions on it, a copy of the contract of whoever you've hired to do the work. Then we would take that in for review. Some developments in town have homeowner associations, and some of them have a requirement that they need to approve what you want to do before you even turn it into us. So you really want to kind of check into that, because sometimes maybe a contractor will bring it in and we can't accept it without the HOA approval. That just kind of delays the whole process too, because that's not a part of our 10-day review process. So you really want to, think everything through and get everything into us correctly.
And when you look at those packets, like, so if you were doing a fence, so for instance, in Vernon Hills, you can have fences. There's some communities you can't have fences, and then like you said, though, there are HOAs that won't allow fences. Or if they allow them, they have to be made of a particular material, more specific than what the village requires, So the village has, how high can it be, where can it be located in your yard, but your HOA may go even further. So that's why that step is so important, and that'll just throw you off.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Like in Greg's Landing, there's no fences allowed at all, except around pools where then they would be required. There may be an HOA in town where they may only allow 4-foot height fence. Where if there is no other HOA requirement or where you live, the maximum height of the fence is 6 feet. Of course, there are limitations where those fences are allowed to go also. So, yeah.
So there's these packets are not only important because you've got to put together everything that you need to get your permit, but it gives you a basis of what you need to do, what you can. And if you have a reputable contractor who's worked in Vernon Hills, oftentimes these rules are the same as for other communities, like because I know particularly Mundelein and Libertyville and Vernon Hills truly work closely together because you're on the most current codes of book of codes and everything, because we are doing shared services with the inspectors. So if you're in Mundelein, Libertyville, or Vernon Hills, it's pretty much you're going to find the same thing because it's the same inspectors you might see. They're trying to just get the most bang for the buck on inspecting.
Yeah, correct. And a little bit more on fences, because a lot has to do with how your home is situated on your lot and which direction your lot faces, particularly if you're on a corner lot, because it depends how the house is, located behind you and, you know, where you're allowed to put that fence and all. And our fence handout has a diagram giving different examples of house layouts and, you know, where you can and cannot put a fence.
Well, that's the truth. You pull just about any of these things, and it does give you some good information.
Right.
And not just, here's what you must do, but informative, so if you're
Correct.
getting ready for the process.
Correct, yeah.
And then just knowing you have to leave time on some of these things. Now, there's other permits that, like for instance, if your water heater goes out on Friday night, we don't have to sit there with water flowing all over. Electricity and water don't go together so well.
Yeah.
That's something you can just take care of.
Absolutely. And, you know, I try to reach out to the various stores in town that sell the water heaters to let them know, absolutely, when it's an emergency, go ahead and change it out. Come Monday, the homeowner or contractor can come in and get that water heater permit. Now, with every permit we issue, there's, in some instances, there's a review fee, such as like with a deck, because we're literally reviewing plans of the deck or a basement remodel or an addition. Some of the permits, there are no review fees, but there's always a permit fee and a fee that we call a refundable completion bond. And that bond is there to ensure that we get all of the proper inspections. Now, on a water heater, you're not paying for a permit fee. All you're doing is paying a $50 completion bond fee. And then once your water heater's installed, you contact us for an inspection. When the inspection is approved, we will refund $50 back to you. We'll mail a check back. Typically, it takes about 4 weeks or so. We accept payment in form of cash or checks only. Unfortunately, we don't accept credit cards at the Village Hall for any reason. But yeah, the water heater, sometimes I think they feel it's a little inconvenience coming in for a permit. But the fact is, if it's not hooked up properly, you're talking about a possible fire. To you know, if it's not done correctly. And like I said, that $50 is going to get refunded back to you once your inspection's approved.
So when you think of it really too, I know how the building division here, they look at it as being advocates for the homeowners in trying to make the process simple, but make sure everybody's safe and make sure your work is done correctly. If you hire a contractor, you know, it's another set of eyes to look at that water heater or look at whatever and go, this was not done right, this is not safe. So that's where you've got somebody else looking at it who's looked at 1 million water heaters. They know what should happen. So that's that last inspection. Look at it as peace of mind for you.
Right, and even on a water heater, it has to be installed by a licensed plumber. So we need to make sure we have their licenses up to date also, you know, through the state of Illinois or City of Chicago plumber's license. But absolutely you're right. We're just there to help the homeowner out, make sure everything is done.
And when you talk about, you know, it's got to be a licensed plumber, that's the same in all the communities around. So it's not just like Vernon Hills being hard on everybody. That's what it is.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay, and when we talk about, like you said, you've got all these things online. When you walk in, you might have had to go through your homeowners association. You'll have to know who your contractor is going to be, have to have some plans and things like that. Where would somebody get a plat of survey if they need that?
Search through your documents when you purchase the home, regardless of how long you've been in the house. You should have gotten a plat of survey because in some instances, we're going to need 2 copies of those plats. If you don't have that plat, but please search. We might have a copy of it, but we don't have copies of everything. So, you know, just search to the best you can. If you can't find it, call us. We'll see if we have it, because sometimes we have a very old plat also that may not have everything on it. You shouldn't have to go out and hire a surveyor to do a new plat. That's a few $100s. We don't expect that out of anybody. But, you know, we'll do the best we can to see if we can find one.
So that's just another piece of the puzzle. And over here, I know on the table, one of the things you've got a permit like that would go in the window. So one of the things you get is just to show you, and you're supposed to hang that like usually on your front window, front door, someplace where the inspector can get to it though and put stickers on.
Yeah, all the permits should always be in the front of the house, in the front window. If it's something that has a plan, like for instance a deck or a patio or you know, the fence, we're going to put the approved plan and the permit in a Ziploc plastic bag. Ask that it gets taped to the outside of the front door. in case the inspector needs access to the plan. Even though the work might be being done in the back of the yard, we need the permit in the front. Because that way all the neighbors know, okay, they got the permit, because we get phone calls. Okay, there's work being done here. Do they have a permit? I don't see a permit in the window. So make sure you do put that permit out.
Well, I was going to say, the neighbors like to see that too, because then they know the work is done right, because we all need to keep our homes at the same level of proper repair. So yeah, I bet you do get a lot of calls.
We do, yeah.
Well, so that's some of the information on getting a permit. The key is to kind of put your plan together and start your research and start ahead of time. You can't like decide you're going to do a deck one weekend and do it the next. It's going to take a little time.
We realize sometimes there's a party coming up and they need to get this in right away, or oh, the dog is going to get loose if we don't have our fence up. But so be a little proactive and plan ahead, because we are busy. And it does take time, you know. And 10 business days, you're only talking 2 weeks. So,
and I know you guys try to push it through even faster. But that's the
yeah. And everything you see happening around town, that's us. That's our department. So we're pretty busy with commercial and residential things happening.
It's kind of exciting with all the way it's picking up. I mean, so I know it's a lot of work for you and your department, but it is kind of exciting to see all that. So if you want to know more information, really go to the website and do a little study. You can get a lot of information from the website, and of course call or walk in over here and just ask to talk to somebody. You guys are here.
Yeah, if you ever have any questions, do I need a permit for this or whatever, just give us a call and we'll help you out. That's what we're here for.
Excellent. Thank you very much, and hopefully it's a wonderful, easy building season this year. So thanks a lot.
All right, thanks, Lynn.
Well, that wraps up this edition of the Vernon Hills Update. If you have comments or suggestions, please contact Mike Storto at 847-918-3560 or email Mike S. at thehills.org. Thank you for tuning in to the Vernon Hills Update.